It's Redefine Radio on YouTube. Welcome to our State of the Nightlife special, wrapping up Season 3 of Redefine Radio. I am your host, Freddie Cosmo, the Disco Prince of New York. It's been quite a comeback for NYC queer nightlife, with the opening of new clubs around the city, new releases from local artists, and the return of the Glam Awards in real life, recognizing the best and brightest in our community. Tonight, we'll take a look at these stories and talk about how NYC nightlife continues to grow and thrive from the POV of 3 artists who have undoubtedly been making waves across town. All of this and what to look forward to in 2022. So grab a drink and settle in. It's the Redefine Radio State of the Nightlife special presentation. Some are saying a large part of the new Roaring '20s in New York will be the clash of celebrity and nightlife. And as far as television and streaming is concerned, Ryan Murphy is tackling New York nightlife with his hit series American Crime Story Studio 54. According to NewNowNext.com, quote, the 4th iteration will depict the rise and fall of Studio 54 co-owners Steve Rubell and Ian Schrager, and their famous Manhattan discotheque, which was a mecca for New York celebs and VIPs, end quote. Both Rubell and Schrader face charges of tax evasion, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy for unreported income in the amount of nearly $2.5 million. American Crime Story Studio 54 is currently in development. Where 2020 saw the unfortunate closing of some of our favorite nightlife venues, 2021 saw a resurgence of several clubs and the promise of brand new ones. Let's take a look back at some of the newest hotspots in the 5 boroughs. The new clubs, we talked a little bit about this last week. There's a slew of new clubs opening.
There sure are. Monosyllabic titles.
Yes.
Like Hush and Shush and
Thirst. I talked a little bit about it last week. Can you give us the rundown? Some more. Hang on. We'll go through it. Let me get to my notes. So, Rebar is now going to be Rebar is your old stomping ground. Yes. We had Thought Mess was there.
Rebar is still going to be a Rebar, but they're opening a second bar, I believe, on the site of. Is it the Hell's Kitchen Boxers?
Yes. No. Hell's Kitchen Boxers. That's just going to be Hell's Kitchen Boxers across the street, right? Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you're right. They're opening somewhere in Hell's Kitchen, a second place.
Okay. And it's called Thirst.
It's called Thirst. But Rebar Chelsea will still be open.
And there's another one. This is the one that everyone's sort of been posting about. Because I just saw, Britta posted it. I just saw DJ Nesta, who's over at Monster, posted it as well. Hush.
Right.
You have any other juice for me?
I don't. I think they may have. Did they have it? They just said coming soon.
It just says coming soon. It doesn't give an address. And it's just a lot of drag queens, DJ stuff like that.
Well, I know they're working on their programming and they're hiring the bar staff now. So that's a good sign that there at least is an opening date out there.
Soon-ish, most likely. Yeah.
Yes.
What advice would you have for these new club owners as a more seasoned nightlife personality here? What would you tell them to have staying power?
I would say try out new people and new things. Like you can't just keep booking the same people that have shows in the 4 bars down the street every other day of the week.
Yeah.
It's not going to sustain itself.
You know.
I mean, I certainly don't blame those people for wanting more gigs. They should get all the gigs that they can get. But
we all
if you
want
to be absolutely. But if you want to be a smart business owner, you can't just sit and wait for other bars to decide who the next big thing is.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I know it's a challenge because it's really hard to run a business and you want big bucks real fast and you want to go towards old reliable things. But that's ultimately, I think, do what you need to do in the beginning, but keep your eyes on a more diverse future for your programming, I think.
It's really, really important. We've just wrapped our 3rd season of Redefine Radio for B-Box Radio. But earlier this year, we had a chance to sit down with a few artists who released new music, earned their very first Glam Award nominations, and launched an OnlyFans? Let's take a look at some unaired interviews for Redefine Radio. My special guest tonight is a pop chanteuse of Brooklyn and New York. We already play her music right here on the show. The most beautiful woman in the world. My favorite New Yorker. Special guest tonight / today is Jack Tracy a New York City-based content creator, creative director of Necessary Outlet Productions, and he hosts the podcast Dying Alone Together, of which you can catch me on.
I just don't want sound quality to change halfway through the video. That's so ghetto.
Yeah. I'm sure you've heard Sabotage, a song that I love, and a song for the ladies. She's here tonight to talk about some new music and what she has going on in a post-pandemic New York City. Please welcome Danielle Cardona, and is here to show us that the body doesn't quit. Give it up for Miss Jae W.B. Hey!
Ready!
How are you?
Hi.
So, Danielle, let's get into it. But you are also in one of my cohorts as far as Vinyl Fantasy goes, yes?
Yeah, I've done quite a few of them, yeah.
I know you did, which one did you, I know you did the Britney one, yes?
I did the Britney one, yeah, I did the Britney one. I did the Gwen Stefani.
Oh, yes, you did Cool, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was really funny being picked for that one because at first I was like, oh, that's funny that they thought of me for Gwen Stefani because I like her, but I don't know, it's not like the most obvious, oh yeah, Danielle and her,
So speaking of you and Mel Lennon, because I was also fortunate enough to share the stage with you during the Night of 5,000 Thoughts for Thoughtsy. And I think you went on a little before me, you and Mel Lennon together.
I was number 3,900.
I was literally 4,998. There was a lot of great energy that night, for sure. I felt like the audience were really receptive, especially to us performing, those of us who were performing original works.
Right.
They just really, really took it in. Who just came off of, because we're a little bit who just came off of a wonderful event called Completely at Rock Bar.
Hallelujah.
Which was amazing. I think that you should be very, very proud of yourself as an artist here in the city. So I first found out about you, I guess it was at Night of 5,000 Thoughts, which I'm bringing up a lot lately. I realize we're having a lot. But Jim Silvestri, who owns Hey Jim over at Thoughtsy, he always is really on the cutting edge of which artists are sort of up and coming and who's doing what and who's making moves and who's making waves. And you're absolutely in that group at this moment. How do you feel?
Thank you, Freddie. It's sometimes really surreal. To be honest, I don't know. I think I'm somebody who I don't live for the drama. I really keep my nose to the ground and I do the work. I show up when people ask me to show up, where they ask me to show up, at the time they ask me to show up. And I guess because I juggle so many balls and I do so many different things, that it's really hard to take a step back and recognize the work that you do. And for the past 4 years or so that I've been working specifically in nightlife stuff, and we were at the event at Rock Bar, was the first time that I kind of got to sit back and recognize that I've been in the city for nearly 10 years and I've made all these connections and I've kind of, I don't know, the last year's been really cementing in my work as a singer and a performer, and to know that people like Jim or people like yourself or people like Frankie Sharp, who I adore so much, are really proud of me and the work that I do and giving me a platform to do that work has been so humbling, even though I hate the word humility, but we'll talk more about that later. But it's been so humbling, and I've been just so grateful to be a part of the fabric of New York talent and nightlife right now.
But then they picked that song. Then they picked that song and it made so much sense. I was like, oh, I totally get it. And it felt so right. It was really, I had so much fun redoing that song.
Yeah, Love Angel Music Baby it was a great pop record. It really was.
Yeah.
And it is an interesting choice now, because in listening to your music, I can understand why you would say that. So did you feel like it was an exciting challenge when you got down to it, or how did you feel? Yeah.
It was great. I had so much fun. I like that. One of the reasons why I love Vinyl Fantasy and I'm so appreciative of Vegas and Marcel for cooking this up is because I went through such a creative slump in the pandemic and like quarantine and everything, and was sort of not knowing which direction to go. And the opportunity to perform covers, and especially when they're assigned to you by someone else, because it's not like you pick the song. They're literally like, oh, here, we think you should do this. Right. So that forces you outside of your comfort zone. It forces you to think outside of the box. And then, I don't know, I found a lot of inspiration from doing this, and it helped me in my upcoming songwriting.
That's
so
awesome.
It was super great.
Let's talk music a little, what we came here to do.
So over the pandemic, I have recorded, mixed, all but mastered, just ready to go to mastering, 35 songs.
Yeah.
So how was the response with the new music?
It was good. It was good. It was the sound, the sound is veering slightly in a more R&B, like still pop, but just kind of slower, groovier kind of vibe. And I'm like starting to sing and write more in Spanish and mixing that in. So that kind of made its debut in those performances too. And so, yeah, it felt right.
The feels. I would be remiss if I just didn't bring it up. I just rewatched the video. Huh?
My most watched music video.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it was.
So the song this was the song I always write, from my personal experiences, I always write sort of my songs or diaries. And this song was the song that was about the end of my last long-term relationship. We were together for 5 years. We lived together for a long time, thought that was the relation, that was it, that this was going to marriage and then all of that. And it really, by the end, was only being held together through our sexual connection, which was still very strong when all the other things seemed to be falling apart. So the Song of the Feels was written about that, a relationship where things are getting bad, but we remind ourselves the connection through the sex. And it takes the how does that feel is said a lot, and it's spun 3 different ways. How does that feel like for us to argue? How does that feel while we're having sex? The relationship is over. How does that feel? So it was taking the concept of how does that feel and spinning it in different contexts. The song then the video then was crafted to match the context of the song.
Like a lot of artists, I'm a person with very high highs and very low lows. And so a lot of the songs come out of extreme highs and lows, I would say. They definitely come to me. Not to say that I can't just sit down and write a song if I want to, because they happen that way too. But really, I think the stuff that I'm the most proud of has happened. That I would say they've happened to me.
Tell us about Sabotage. What's the story behind the song? It feels like it might be intense.
Oh, it is. And so I wrote, that's another thing. I do this thing sometimes where I'll write a song and work on it and sit on it for a while and then not release it till a lot later. I think everybody does that sometimes. But yeah, I first started writing those song lyrics, I think in the end of 2018. I was having relationship issues and literally, you can hear it in the lyrics.
You can hear it.
There are very little things in your control, that the only thing that you can control in this life is the effort you put into things. So and how you react to what the world throws at you. So I'm just putting out shit I like and seeing what happens and continuing, struggling, climbing uphill.
Welcome back. The NYC Office of Nightlife is making strides to improve the nightlife scene, with some new developments proving that nightlife has the potential of influencing not only celebrity, but also policy and quality of life. This year, the Office of Nightlife announced Elevate, a support group for nightlife workers. The initiative includes free one-on-one case management and weekly support groups, a full resource guide for nightlife workers, a free wellness subscription, and much, much more. And it looks like the Office of Nightlife might be redefining the makeup of the 5 boroughs soon. Earlier this year, they floated the idea of a nightlife district. This Tuesday, you're doing the Q.
I'll be there every Tuesday.
Every
I'm co-hosting
Tuesday
with Lance Horn. every Tuesday for an event called Tuesdays to be providing.
I'm excited. All of this, and you hold I don't know what, I call it a muggle job, but I guess like a regular.
Yeah, I have a muggle job. I can't let everybody know that I'm this, nightlife superhero icon woman. I spend less time at my day job and more time being an artist. And I didn't think that would be happening the year after a pandemic, but listen, God works in mysterious ways. I'm a workhorse. You offer me a job, I take it, I do not say no. And for me, I don't know if that's growing up in poverty. I don't know if that's being a Black and brown person in America. I don't know if that's being trans. But to me, every opportunity is a blessing, and it's really difficult for me to say no. And it's also important that the other people in Nightlife who know me and support me and care about my success know that I care about their success.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that I can do to aid their success by being present, showing up, if it's a fundraiser, providing my services as a host or a performer, I'm rarely ever going to say no. It's important to me. I'm thanking God, and I'm just saying, even though I'm exhausted and even though all these opportunities seem to be flooding in at once because of the context of how we're living right now, I just try to practice gratitude, and when I can get a moment to breathe, I breathe deep, and then I get back in the pool.
I'm giving you an insider's look with my new novella, Starcatcher, a guide to surviving New York nightlife. Read about all the drama, the scandal, and most importantly, the truth about how promoters keep the party going through one hot Brooklyn summer. Starcatcher, a guide to surviving New York nightlife, is available now on Kindle and paperback. Redefine Radio will return in early 2022, but for now, here's our top 10 list of nightlife entertainment and media you can check out from the comfort of your own home. First up, it's Jack Tracy's podcast, Dying Alone Together.
Usually what we do is we put you in these scenarios where we put you on bad dates, and we make the person seem really hot, but like they're crazy. So like how far, what's the balance?
I might be more of the crazy person than the... Maybe I'll fare well. All right. Jack Tracy's Dying Alone Together podcast with JJ Bozeman talks the ups and downs of dating. Prepare to get personal. The Shade Parade podcast. Glam Award nominee Shade Parade hosts Ari Kiki and Vicky Villainous talk pop culture and current events in this weekly Gab Fest. Listen in for your weekly dose of laughs and true to form shade. Tim Moss and Wendy Stewart's If These Walls Could Talk. The Regis and Kathy Lee of NYC Nightlife host this live podcast from Pangea Lounge. Past guests include Joey Arias, Kobe Cole, and Luca James. Check out past episodes on Wendy Stewart's YouTube channel, Wendy Stewart TV. Next up, it's Tub Talks with Damon L. Jacobs. Psychotherapist, author, and sex educator Damon L. Jacobs provides a conscious approach to our culture covering topics like healthy dating, the AIDS crisis, and culture competency. Binge Tub Talks on the YouTube channel, Damon L. Jacobs. Next up, it's ASN Network Show. If you're looking for a dose of comedy, Always Saturday Night, or ASN, follows the sort of based on a true story lives of some of our nightlife faves, including Madam Vivian V, Amber Von Toxin, Vegas Valentine, Honey Davenport, and many more. Check out the YouTube channel ASN Network for all 3 seasons, teasers, trailers, and extras. Next up is the Sodomighty Show with DJ Chauncey D. B-Box Radio's very own DJ Chauncey D hosts an eclectic mix of dance, disco, house music, and more on B-Box Radio every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Block Talk with Michael Block. If you can't seem to get enough drag content, Block Talk covers all things drag, including every iteration of Drag Race, Queen of the Universe, and much more, with local drag artists featured weekly as guest hosts and commentators, giving you insight to the expansive world of drag artistry. Next up, Tens Magazine.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a thing that she ever said that, but it's the way that the media projected the movement.
Ballroom culture and lifestyle combine to make this hip, chic, and glossy editorial a trendsetter. For the culture darlings, check out more at tensmagazine.com or on IG at tensmag. Next, Unbinding the Binary Podcast. This brand new podcast with hosts Sage and Deshaun talks gender, life, love, and much more. Check out Unbinding the Binary Podcast on all streaming platforms. Last, it's the Afro Sensei Show on Twitch's Drag Queen TV. DJ Afro Sensei's weekly show features guest hosts in a wide range of topics, including pop culture, news, and information. Subscribe to the Drag Queen TV Twitch channel for more.
But you have such a knack for like hosting, and, it's great. No, it's super great. Super engaging. I love it.
Thanks so much for tuning in for our Redefine Radio State of the Nightlife special report. Follow me on Instagram at Freddie Cosmo and be on the lookout for the return of Redefine Radio Volume 4 coming this Thursday night, February 24th at 6 p.m. over on thefaceradio.com.